accuracy edge to communication. The good news is that it can be softened with careful wording and perhaps even more important, or even friendly tone of voice. The tension breaks this evening, and by tomorrow good humor returns. Now, I gotta say this. This gal Peggy, she's 85. Peggy and I are on the same page on a lot of things.
Now, Peggy is one of your neighbors.
Yeah, and I took care of her husband, the guy who used to push the little cart around.
You want to smoke?
Yeah, with a little airplane hat.
Okay, yeah.
Him?
Yeah, the dementia guy.
Yeah, he died. Okay.
Yeah.
And Peggy, we talk about him, and he had a daughter, an older daughter, and he called her the whore. She's a whore, she's a prostitute.
In his dementia state.
Yeah, but I think that's what got him there. Because he couldn't...
Accept her the way she was?
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I was saying. The dementia, the memory, it has to do with memory. And memory, you cannot fit what you're experiencing in the world into your preconceived notion.
Yeah.
You have to allow it to change you. And then you have to adapt to it. But if you have a preconceived notion and you already have all the answers, then what you're doing is you're actually going against life. You're going against what you're observing in the world.
Yes, I did that. We both done it for a while.
Oh, well, when you're faced with a nasty situation, then our natural response is to say, up yours, space hopper. But look thine enemy in the eye, smile, and say, thank you, teacher, for thou art the harbinger of mine destiny.
Now, that's great, but at one time I didn't do that up in Idaho. They took my kids.
No, it's important. See, the thing that's healthy is that you experience that rage and that disgust and that anger and that frustration.
Oh,
but
my God.
Ultimately, we have to work through it and get to an affirmation. That's the purpose of metaphysics. The purpose of metaphysics is to give us a grand unifying directive, G-O-D, that puts us in tune with life and affirms life.
Eddie was a short-changed chicken shit.
So we can run away from the world into a metaphysic, but that should be inspired by our dark night of the soul.
Imagine Campbell or Noel coming up to you and teaching certain things, and turns around and goes, oh, well, we're just going to love you, and walk away, and you go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
A cheap clap. That's what Eddie did.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And that's why I say when people around their 40s, this is what they don't understand, because I can tell you now, because I did it. What happens is you get tricked. You get to learn things. That's good, and you're good at it. But if you don't have the experience to match that,
yes,
it will trick you and dump you in the trash.
Experience is the great equalizer.
It is the equalizer.
Because you go out into the world and you say, this is what is. Now, the dementia patient, I don't know enough about it, but I would suspect that they have these preconceived notions that they can't integrate new information because they're too busy limiting it into their own little metaphysical conception of the world.
I saw it.
And so what happens is that a closed loop occurs, and it just starts consuming itself. They actually say there are lesions, the scarring in the brain, due to plaque buildup. There's a special kind of protein that they call a plaque buildup. And then it causes lesions in certain areas of the brain.
That's what Alzheimer's did in 1910.
And they're considering that it might actually be an infection. The reason why it might be an infection, they say, is that it starts at the hippocampus, and then it goes to another area of the brain, and then it goes to another area of the brain. It starts there, and then it goes here, and then here. So I don't know all the biology and chemistry and everything.
Well, I do know this, that the frontal lobes has holes in it for dementia patients. And I do know this, street talk, basic general knowledge. If you give me 30 photographs of 30 different dementias, people, give them all at the same time in one day, put them up on the billboard.
Oh, I was talking about Alzheimer's. That's Alzheimer's that has the scarring.
Yeah, put them up on the billboard.
Dementia, they say it has to do with the frontal lobes and the memory in the back of the brain. And I can't remember exactly what they said, though. It was last night on Charlie Rose.
Well, the thing is, either one of them, what I'm getting at, whatever you take photos of, after we look at it for 30 days in a row, now everything's moving. The universe is expanding. I know that we're moving here. But we'll memorize those, and then our brain will see a person, and they will hook up.
Well, but the key
That's
is...
why you said, I think Phil will be dementia, the way he's going.
Well,
that same mental process.
The key is the fixed and set fast. If we have a fixed and set fast conception of the world, then
I don't want that.
you see, it becomes limiting.
Oh shit, David, that's a horrible place to go. I've been there.
So our metaphysic needs to be able to be constructed in such a way that it grows with our growth.
Absolutely.
However, we have to have an integrity with it. So we have to have a good foundation.
Let me stop. Peggy, I'm putting metaphysics on her gently. I'm learning how to talk to my elders because they do have experience. And she stops. She goes, that makes sense. She's 85, never heard this stuff before.
What makes sense?
Some of the metaphysics that I moved in with her life and her husband and her daughter. She said, David, I'm learning how to weave it.
Yes, that's the key. Now, I was talking this morning on my journal, is that, well, it comes naturally. See, the thing is that I unconsciously already knew that my parents were so crazy that I needed to tap in. I needed just these little golden seed thoughts, these little golden alchemical seed thoughts, you know, and I realized that the way to do it was the aphorism. So I started out with the only character that arises is the one that's lacking in a need of development. And the idea to that, the underneath thing to that, is that it's a process. We continually grow. You cannot say somebody is this and set them into that stereotype, fixed and set fast forever. You can't. You have to allow them to grow.
Man, that just hurts my head when I think of that. You're right.
And then
I see myself.